Should I already donate my properties to my kids while I'm still alive? What are my options? What taxes should I pay and how much will it be?
We encounter this a lot with our clients. They always ask us to help them transfer their properties in the names of their kids para wala na silang problema later on. But how do we actually do this? What's the process?
Now, this is a question of one of our viewers, Maria Luisa Gabriel. And she writes, we are planning to execute a deed of donation of our house and lot to our 3 children. Can we indicate the exact division of the property? Like, if the land is 200 square meters, we want to give to our youngest 100 square meters and the other 2 children 50 square meters each.
Swerte yung isa.
Swerte yung bunso, youngest. Does the deed of donation require also an estate tax? Yan.
But before that, we would like to give a shout out to one of our followers who said, excellent employee discipline workshop. Very informative, fun, and super simplified. Hindi sasakit ulo mo. Thank you so much, Legal Guide Philippines, for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. It's from Shannon.
Shannon, thank you so much.
Apparently, masakit ang ulo niya before sa employee discipline.
So, nawala ang sakit ng ulo ni Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Please keep watching and sharing our videos. And if you're finding our content helpful, a quick like and subscribe would be really appreciated. Now, let's get on with the show. If you're having issues transferring your land or have issues transferring the properties of a loved one who passed away, we have something that can help. We recorded an FAQ session where we answered the most common questions related to real property transfers and estate settlement. You can access the recording by going to www.legalaccess.ph and choosing the transferring land or the estate settlement topics there.
Welcome to Legal Guide Philippines, where we simplify the law to help you make better choices. I'm Attorney Erwin Zagala and I'm with my partner,
Attorney Ramon Ramirez. Okay, so today we will be discussing yung donating property to our kids.
Very interesting topic.
How do we do it and what needs to be paid? Kasi natanong ni Ma'am, mayroong bang estate tax, di ba?
Napapansin ko, it's very embedded sa kultura ng Pilipino, no? Na yung nagbibigay talaga ng lupa.
Correct, diba? Correct. Ayan, so let's see what's happening with our viewer, our question asker. Okay, so let's recap. So si Maria Luisa, and I guess siya and her husband, presumably, they want to transfer their property, yung house and lot, to she has 3 kids, no?
Okay.
And it looks like we're only talking about one property, no, hindi several, because they're planning to give around 200 square meters sa 3 nilang anak. Yung isa will get 100 square meters. Yung dalawa,
yung pinagpala.
Oo, yung pinagpala. yung dalawa, tig 50 lang. Yan, okay. I think si Bunso pa daw, si 100 square meters.
Yan.
Okay, now they also want to know what taxes do they need to pay, no? Nabanggit ni Maria Luisa, may estate tax ba? Yan, okay. So again, sabi nga, tama si Attorney Erwin, he said that this is very, very typical sa ating kultura.
Very Filipino.
Yes, so they like already donating properties to their children even while they're still alive. Ano yung mga usual reasons that we hear kung bakit tinatransfer itong mga properties na to, Attorney Erwin?
Well, ang pinakamaraming naririnig ko, para hindi sila mahirapan later
on.
Kasi yung mga anak ko, walang alam yan sa papeles.
Walang alam sa... Parang hindi na sila mahirapan. Pag namatay ako, nasa kanila na. Yan yung mga usual. No?
Actually, funny, yan ang ginawa sa akin ng magulang ko. Pero, ito ngayon, wala kasi akong kapatid. So, parang...
Mas madali talaga.
It made sense. Sa'yo naman yung mapupunta, diba? So, ayun, naririnig natin yan.
Yan, oo. And ano pa yung mga other reasons? There are actually a lot. No? We're just talking about yung mga usual, no? Yung mga kadalasan. Para makatipid sa ano? Sa ano, Attorney Erwin?
Tax.
Sa tax, yan. Kasi sabi ni kumare, ng kapitbahay, ng abogado, di ba? Kailangan daw i-transfer na kagad para makatipid sa tax. Yan.
Malalaman natin kung talagang malaki nga ba yung matitipid.
Pag-usapan po natin yan. Alright, okay. Next is, ano ba? Ito pa. Gusto ko may lupa na nakapangalan sa kanila. Ba, kasi ako, nung lumalaki ako, wala akong lupa.
Gusto ko ibigay sa kanila yung wala ako nung bata.
Yes, so dapat meron na siyang lupa. Yan, yung mga typical, naririnig mo rin yan, di ba? Okay.
Although walang legal basis, diba? Pero
It happens.
It is valid. For
Yeah.
some people, napakalaking bagay kasi yan.
True. No, so it's very understandable that parents would want to secure the future of their children.
Yun ang pinanggagalingan.
And for many of us, we think that putting property in their names will make them will put them one step closer to having that secure future. Okay, but before we go into all of this, we invite you to revisit muna those reasons.
Mabuting maipaliwanag ng abogado. Kung talagang may basihan po ba or tama yung mga rason na to.
Correct. Okay. So, when our clients come to us asking their help, that they need our help, to help them donate their properties to their kids, kami naman ni Attorney Erwin, we like taking the extra step of reviewing with them first yung reasons nila. Bakit nyo po ba gustong mangyari to, di ba? Kasi we're not naman mercenaries, no, na or just runners na you can just say, pa-order nga po ng isang donation.
Yes po.
Yes po, one donation coming up. Hindi po gano'n. No? We take the time to understand muna. Okay? So when they come to us, we sit down with them and understand what's the intent. Anong reason nyo?
Tingin ko pa kasama yan ng pagiging responsableng professional. Wala pinagkaiba sa doktor. Dok, pa-opera nga ako. Feeling ko yung appendix ko nag-act up.
Opo, sige po. Basta sinabi nyo.
Kasi higa na po. Diba? So, there needs to be pagsusuri. Diba? Just to ensure na yung nire-recommend na procedure is in line with your needs. And ano ba yung pinanggagalingan mo?
Right. So, we want to understand anong yung reason nyo for doing this. What are you trying to achieve? Or what are you trying to avoid? Diba? That could be something, So, suriin natin, ano yung mga usual reasons. Ano yung una? Para hindi na sila mahirapan later on. No? So, ano bang premise nito? Anong pinagmumulan nito? Okay? Siguro ang iniisip ng parents usually is para nakapangalan na sa kanila.
Nothing to do.
Oo, wala na silang kailangan gawin. Maybe later on, hindi na nila kailangan mag-undergo ng estate settlement procedures, di ba? Okay, usually, pag sinabing estate settlement, ang malaking bagay dyan, yung taxes.
Yes.
Diba? So, baka, no need for them to pay taxes na, lalo na yung anak ko, walang trabaho yan, hindi makakapagbayad. Diba? So, we invite you to revisit that, no? Pag ganyan yung nyo, ask your lawyer. Kung ganyan yung reasoning nyo, ask your lawyer, tama ba yun, no? Tama ba yung premise namin? Kasi, it can happen that the taxes that you pay now, yung pag-transfer sa kanila today, might be bigger than the taxes that they would need to pay later on.
Especially in line with the new law po na pinasa.
Yeah,
taxes.
Wherein, let's say, ang rate ng donation is also the same rate ng estate tax na binabayaran.
I think we discussed this, Attorney Ramon, sa isa pang video. Di ba?
Right.
Na diniscuss natin yung mga myth na mas, in some cases, mas malaki pa pala yung savings kung estate tax na lang po dinaan versus habang buhay pa, dinonate or binenta.
Totoo, Attorney Erwin. So again, please revisit nyo, no? So, hindi ibig sabihin na mas madali na, no? Once na transfer na. No?
Hindi na ngayon.
Yes, hindi matik yan, no? Hindi matik. So, please revisit that, no? Also, there's a concept of yung collation, Attorney Erwin, no? So, hindi ibig sabihin na pag pinamigay nyo ngayon yan, dinonate nyo ngayon yung property,
shoot sa banga.
Yun. Kanila na yun. Merong concept na collation wherein lahat ng dinonate ng mga magulang, posibleng ibalik sa estate para maghatian ng tama.
Bakit? Kasi posibleng lumagpas ka dun sa naka-allot sa'yo ayon sa batas.
Naka-allot sa anak. No? Yun. So there's that concept. So again, please consult. No? Hindi matik na mas madali for them pag transfer nyo na ngayon. Okay? Another is para makatipid sa tax. Like I said earlier, posibleng yung taxes to be paid now, pag transfer nyo yung property sa inyong mga kids now, might already be bigger than yung that will be made to pay later on, kung wari estate tax. Diba? Like, what if it's really just a small property? Posibleng zero tax sila. Diba? Pag transfer. Dito, nagbayad kayo ng 6% of the property. No? So, ganon. Again, hindi matik. Please, review it. No? Lastly, gusto ko na meron nang nakapangalan sa kanila habang bata pa lang sila. Kasi ako wala. Diba? And this happens. We've been approached by a lot of young parents even na gusto na lang i-transfer sa 1-year-old kid nila. Hindi pa, baby pa lang, sanggol pa lang. And,
Gusto ko lumaki siyang may lupain.
yun! Yeah, so, ano ba pinanggagalingan ito? Is it pride? Maybe, proving to yourself that you're no longer that poor kid growing up, no? Suriin natin, ano yung reason natin for doing this or for wanting this for our kids, no? Kasi ang effect nito is you might need to make certain deals with the property. Pwedeng as you're growing up, as your kids are growing up, kailangan mo ng pera. And kailangan mo isang yung property.
Paano ngayon?
Yes, you can't do that, no? Because you will be effectively giving your rights, away your rights to the property. Okay, and this reminds me of a story of a mom, no? She gave her house to her son. No? Kasi para hindi na siya mahirapan, blah blah blah, no? Soon after binigay nung mom na yung bahay lupa niya sa anak niya, no? I think yung only son niya, doon pa rin naman siya nakatira, pero ipinangalan niya na.
Yung anak, mag-isa lang or may pamilya?
May kakapangasawa lang. Yan. Parang gift niya. Hindi sila okay nung
napangasawa.
Hindi sila okay. And then the son immediately died. No? So, at some point, si mom who gave her house to may asawa na at anak, no? So hindi na heir si mom nung namatay yung anak niya, no? So eventually she was made to leave her own house.
Sakit naman ng
kwentong yan. Nag-gift niya sa anak niya. And this happened, no? This happened. So guys, again, ang pinanggagalingan natin na suriin natin, no? It also, if you just give away stuff, it teaches your kids that they can have something substantial without even working for it. No?
It might be sending the wrong message. No?
Yes, correct. So bottom line, please be clear on what your intentions are for transferring your property sa ating mga anak. Then, pag clear na kayo doon, please seek professional advice on what you plan to do para meron kayong second look. Tama ba, Attorney Ron?
Mahirap nang wala.
Yes. Okay. So, now that we've tackled that, no? So yung mga reasons natin for donating to our children, let's talk about yung two kinds of donations under our civil code. Yan. So, meron tayong dalawang klaseng donation. The first one is what we call the inter vivos donation.
Okay.
Yan, okay? So, before that, define muna natin kung ano yung donation, no? So donation is an act, and this is Article 725. Okay, wait. Article 725 of the Civil Code. Donation is an act of liberality whereby a person disposes gratuitously of a thing or a right in favor of another who accepts it. Yan. So that's what a donation is, no? And there are two types of donation. Sabi ko nga kanina, there is the inter vivos donation and donation mortis causa.
Ang complicated pa yan. Latin.
Yeah, so Latin. Inter vivos. So what is inter vivos mean? It is a Latin, tama ka, Attorney Erwin? Latin term yan. It means among the living. Yan. So, a donation inter vivos is a transfer of property between mga taong buhay pa.
Inter
vivos. Yan. Among the living. Yan. So, now, ano naman yung mortis causa? Kung merong between the living, merong between the dead.
Hindi pwede yun. Kasi estate yun.
Yeah. So, meron naman tayong tinatawag na mortis causa, which means in contemplation of death.
Mortis. Ibig sabihin, death eh.
Yeah.
Causa. So, yung death is the cause for the donation.
So, in a contemplation of an approaching death. Yan. Okay, mamamatay na kasi, kaya magdo-donate.
Yan yung sa pelikula eh. May nasa deathbed na. Tapos, lapit ka. May sasabihin ako.
Yan. Wala kang bibigay sa No, so gano'n, no? But these, itong donations na to, mortis causa, yes, they're donations, but they're essentially what you call gifts given. Parang gifts given through a last will and testament.
Habilin.
Oo.
Parang
gano'n, okay? So actually, sa our Article 728 of the Civil Code says, yan, Article 728, donations which are to take effect upon the death of the donor partake of the nature of testamentary provisions and shall be governed by the rules established in the title on succession.
Yeah.
So ano ibig sabihin nun? the rules that will govern in a donation mortis causa or a donation in contemplation of death, ang rules dyan will be, it's as if yung yung succession yan, no? Yung rules on wills and last wills and testament. Yan.
Sobrang lapit na kasi.
Oo, kasi so yun ang mag-rule, no? So why the distinction? The distinction here is very important because yun nga, yung validity, paano magiging valid itong mga donation nito, or even when you're yung mga revocation nito, it will depend kung ano yung nature niya, no? Kung inter vivos or mortis causa. Okay? Ano ba yung differences nito? Like, kuwari, a donation inter vivos is evidenced by a public document.
Okay, kailangan nakapapel.
Yes.
Okay.
So, lalo na if we're talking about real property, ang mga dinodonate, no? It should be evidenced by a public document and it should be accepted by the donee in the same deed of donation or separate instrument. Okay? So, kailangan may acceptance. And nakasulat din yung acceptance na yan. Okay? Now, pag mortis causa naman, like we mentioned earlier, the donation must be in a form of a will with all the formalities of a valid will. Ibig sabihin, kung it's as if, kasi I think, and we've talked about this in various other videos, na when you write a will, napakaraming formalities yan na kailangan sundin.
Yes.
Ang daming rules na kailangan sundin. If you're going to make a donation mortis causa, ganun na ganun din, no? Yun ang rules na mag-a-apply.
Wala kang takas.
Yes. Alright, so next, we'll be talking about in more detail, or a little more detail, how do we execute a donation.
And we'll be back after this short break.
Let's talk about how do we execute a donation naman. So, guys, let me be very clear.
And we're back.
Okay, let's talk about how do we execute a donation naman. So, guys, let me be very clear, especially when it comes to real property o yung mga lupa or mabahay or condo or whatever. A donation is a formal contract. So, yung formalities required by law, they must be complied with in order for a donation to be valid. Okay? So, sabi ng ating civil code, Article 749, again, I will read, no? In order that the donation of an immovable may be valid, it must be in a public document, specifying therein the property donated and the value of the charges which the donee must satisfy.
Yun.
Yan.
Kompleto.
Kompleto. Actually, the provision also says that yun nga, acceptance must be made in the same deed of donation or in a separate document. If it's in a separate document, may mga rules pa yan. Also, acceptance must be made during the lifetime of the donor. So, kailangan buhay pa yung donor when in-accept yan. Okay? So, a donation inter vivos is perfected at the time when the donor knows of the donee's acceptance.
Yes.
So, kung alam na nung donor na in-accept nung donee, ayan na. Perfected na ang ating donation. Okay? And upon perfection, pag na-perfect ng ating donation, meron na tayong effectively yung transfer of ownership from the donor to the donee. Okay? So, ito yung mga kailangan nating i-comply na formalities under the law when we do a donation inter vivos, no? Sa mortis causa naman, again, para siyang will. So, kailangan, when we do a donation mortis causa, we follow yung formalities of a will. And actually there, you will really need to consult a lawyer kasi napaka-stringent ng mga requirements niyan.
One miss, you die.
Yes. Now, going back to yung question ni Maria Luisa, no? She can indicate, tinatanong niya, pwede ba 100, 50 sa mga anak ko? Yes, you can do that. You can indicate yung percentage of sharing of your children in the property, in that document, in the deed of donation. Okay? The consideration lang here is how practical would it be? Diba? Can it be properly described as to absolutely be clear to all parties which part of the property is being donated? Kasi ang hirap naman sabihin na na parang practical ba na you'll do that, or should it be paghati-hatiin na lang yung property? Yung kusina hanggang sa sala ay kay kuya.
Yung garahe kanina.
Oh, ganun. So there are certain practical considerations there that you might want to talk to your counselor about. Okay? Now, what about taxes, Attorney Erwin? Let's talk about taxes. So, like we said, there are two kinds of taxes, di ba? Yung donation, two kinds of taxes, two kinds of donation, inter vivos and mortis causa. So, in a donation inter vivos, because it's a donation among living people, di ba? ang mag-a-apply na taxes here is yung donor's tax. Okay? And the donor's
Not estate tax.
Not estate tax.
Donor's
Okay,
tax.
so Maria Luisa, what will apply here kung pareho kayong buhay pa ng inyong kids at kayo rin, and you make that donation, we apply the donor's tax, which is right now it is at 6%. Okay? Of your total gifts, no? There is also a what do you call this, an exemption, no? So an exemption of up to 250,000 pesos.
Pag hindi lumagpas ng 250,000,
Exempt pa yan.
okay, walang babayaran.
Yan, okay. So again, please consult yung lawyer nyo how to calculate that, or maybe even an accountant who is experienced in doing that. Okay? Now, what about mortis causa, Attorney Erwin? Pag mortis causa na, since sabi nga natin what will apply is yung wills, no, the law on wills, ganun din. It will also be subject naman to estate tax. Okay? So those are the taxes that you need to be thinking about when it comes to you donating properties to your kids, no? We talked about a lot, no? Next, let's put it all together so that we can answer Maria Luisa's question.
Yes.
So,
And we'll be back after this short break.
Maria Luisa, parents may donate and distribute the real
And we're back!
Okay, so let's get back to Maria Luisa's question. So, again, let me summarize. No, Maria Luisa, parents may donate and distribute the their real property to their children. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and the parents, like we said earlier, parents should also be clear whether the donation is inter vivos or mortis causa. Okay? And they should follow the formalities prescribed by law for that.
Dating naman sa akin ito, inter vivos.
Mukhang inter vivos yan. Oo, meaning habang buhay pa sila. Okay, and tinatanong naman ni Maria Luisa, can we indicate the exact division of the property? Yes. Okay, you can indicate 100 square meters or whatever. You can do that.
Sa'yo yung garahe.
Yes.
Sa'yo yung kusina. Pwede.
Yeah, so yes, indicating the share of each child to the land will prevent future disputes between yung children, di ba? You may even subdivide the property even further. Kung it's bigger and it's more practical, subdivide the property even further so that they can each hold a title. No? So, pwede niyong gawin yan. Last question ni Maria Luisa is, does the deed of donation require also an estate tax? And our answer was, no. So, if the parents decide for an inter vivos donation, they will have to pay yung donor's tax. Okay? Hindi estate tax. Now, estate tax, posible. Kailan, no? Estate tax will also be payable if yung property ngayon na idodonate ni Maria Luisa sa kanyang kids, hindi pa nakapangalan sa kanila. But, kuwari sa nanay niya pa, or sa lolo or sa lola. Yan. Posibleng may estate tax dyan, no? But it's not estate tax because nag-donate sa kids, but it's estate tax kasi minana nila from their parents. Okay? Posibleng ganun, no? But kung inter vivos lang, straight, donor's tax.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it. For most of you, this lesson was more than enough, and if it makes your life easier, then of course, you're welcome. But there are some of you who will watch this episode and end up asking even more questions, such as, Attorney, how do we determine what to put in the estate? Or how do we determine who are the heirs? Or, Attorney, what's the complete process of transferring the properties?
If that's you, then we invite you to check out the Estate Settlement Guide workshop, where in as little as 1 hour, we give you a crash course on succession law and a general roadmap of the entire estate settlement framework. With this guide, you will know exactly where you are in the process, regardless of whether you're doing it on your own or if you've hired someone to assist you. You can access this workshop at info.legalguide.ph/estate today.
Now, one last thing, guys. We all want to secure the future of our children. Many times, we feel that giving them properties or material wealth will arm them for the future. But that's not always the case. Sometimes, in giving them these things, we send them the wrong message. We teach them the wrong lessons. Well, when we give them properties, let's examine our intentions clearly. Then, when we're sure, let's consult a trusted professional to check if donating will be the best way forward. So, wasn't that simple? Now, go make better choices.